Gog is great, 80 gin I appreciate, and lumenhymn I opposite of hate, but I want more, and more, and more. Let's talk Monster Hunter in 2026. Hello, my fellow hunters. How are you all doing? I hope you are having a wonderful start to the year, and I hope you had a wonderful New Year's too, however, wherever, whenever you celebrated. It's a fresh dawn 2026, and honestly I can't believe I'm even saying that. It feels like I blinked and 2025 just kind of teleported by, but here we are, in a state where Monster Hunter Wilds is all but done. The last major update finished. Of course, we do have title update 4.5, let's call it, to look forward to, the kind of equivalent of the Primordial Malzeno bonus update back in Sunbreak, and that's going to be really exciting for quite a few reasons that we'll talk about. But after that, we're in that weird kind of scary time where there isn't current mainline Monster Hunter happening.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
But I want to allay any fears that we're going to be lacking Monster Hunter-y things to do by going over the main things that we can expect from 2026 when it comes to Monster Hunter. Some obvious, some perhaps less so. We go then to Wilds that, yes, is getting its February update. This is going to be bringing us Arch-Tempered Arkveld, which I am very, very much looking forward to. I hope he is absolutely brutal and full of many, many new attacks. He is going to be the final technically new monster of the entire base game. He really is taking that Primordial Malzeno role, and because of that, I hope that he is by far the most complex and different Arch-Tempered we've gotten. And indeed, his armor set is full of potential. He is the weakness exploit and Flayer guy, and with Flayer being honestly really solid now, and, you know, weakness exploit, he's going to be giving us, in theory, some big meaty upgrades. Now, that said, he also has his set bonuses, and I do mean bonuses, because in theory, Arch-Tempered Arkveld should be giving us 2 Gamma armor sets in once, right? Gamma Arkveld and Gamma Guardian Arkveld, so that's actually really exciting, a kind of 2-for-1 there, and both sets obviously have some really important pieces, and even just from an Immortal standpoint, being able to mix in some stronger Arkveld set bonuses, healing from wounds, healing from attacking, yeah, that's kind of exciting. Obviously there's a certain element of the final builds of Wilds don't really have anything to be used against, but I don't think that's such a bad thing, because hey, they will take us into the Master Rank expansion at a minimum, and that's something also to talk about. But first, it's not just Arch-Tempered Arkveld, there's going to be more surrounding it, and that comes in the form of more advanced quests, presumably the rest of the maps and such. And I hope beyond that too, some like advanced arena quests with some really brutal configurations of challenges. Then we've got the performance updates continuing. There's already been some really positive receptions to the performance upgrades in Title Update 4, and then we will have 2 more rounds of it to come, both in January and in the February update. It's going to end up being late, but it's looking good for Wilds actually ending up in a proper robust state, making it just one of, if not the best, at least in my humble opinion, base Monster Hunter games. Then we have ourselves the Stories 3 Twisted Reflection collab, so that'll be a little bit fun. And then the big deal, obviously, that is the design winner contest, the Shatter Seal Greatsword. The ultimate, what I'm going to assume, layered option for everyone who correctly chose the best weapon. That said, it would be hilarious if it somehow power crept Gogma Artian just out of nowhere. It actually just break reality when you hit. It just deletes the monster. And, well, there's no more updates, so, you know, just go crazy. And the pendant too, and hopefully the actual quest to unlock that will be a bit of entertainment as well. Basically, we do have a fairly appreciable nugget of more wildsy stuff to come, on top of just various event quests over the coming weeks too. So, we still have that little encore to finish with. But then, when does that Master Rank expansion start to take shape? We all thought, for very likely good reason, that the Game Awards might give us that tease. It made sense in a number of ways for that to be the time to start laying those seeds, but of course it didn't happen. So when is it likely to happen? Well, I don't think anytime soon now. Obviously, you know, Capcom gonna Capcom, and it could happen in 3 hours from me releasing this video. But in general, it's time for Stories 3, right? We want to get the February Wilds update all neat in a bow, and then March, very quickly, is Stories 3. And then that's going to be the focus for at least a couple months. And there's going to be DLC for Stories 3 as well, and in theory it's not outrageous to say that we'll end up spending a good 6 months, half the year, with that being the focus of Monster Hunter from Capcom's side of things. Which would then kind of mean, are we just looking at the Game Awards again but next year for a teaser? But is that going to be too close? Are we really not going to see a Master Rank expansion in 2026? For me, I think the latest we see Wilds get an expansion is very early 2027, but I would totally believe and lean towards late 2026 as the actual date. It fits the timelines more with Iceborne and Sunbreak of that 15 to 18 months. Which would be, of course, nicely in time for around September-ish for Master Rank Wilds, which means a first reveal at Summer Game Fest and then a 3-month cycle of teasers and trailers before an actual release. Yeah, I could totally see that going down quite well. Maybe a little bit of a longer time frame, but that does make sense. In any case, I will be shocked, in fact, beyond shocked, incredibly shocked, ginormously shocked, more shocked than Conan the first time he saw a Zamtrios inflate. What?! If we get 9 months into next year and have no idea what's happening in any way with the Wilds expansion. In any case, then, it goes beyond Wilds, of course, because, as I say, Monster Hunter Stories 3. That is a big deal. Stories 1 was charming, but it suddenly had its issues. Stories 2 was a vast improvement in every way and was just a wonderful game, but still had a few things that certainly could be pushed. Stories 3, from what little I know, looks phenomenal, and while Conan is taking point on that, and ironically I'm going to be the blind one in the pro and noob, which should be fun, he is definitely conveyed in subtle ways that he is very much hype, and that it's looking to be by far and away the best stories yet, and I cannot wait. Even just the pro and noob journey, ignoring anything else, is going to be absolutely spectacular, and I, for one, am very, very much okay with Stories 3 being a nice little, okay, Wilds is done for now, but hey, it's time to ride on! And yes, yes it is. Please let Malfestio be a monstie. I would be so unbelievably happy. And yes, for Cotton's sake, I really hope he can finally ride his Duramboros. He is being teased it for so many years. The only brute wyvern not in 5th gen onwards. It really, really sucks for him. But if you're not into that kind of, you know, Pokemon-y style of game, so you're kind of like, when it comes to stories, please don't be. They are really satisfying. If you like Monster Hunter for the monsters and the world, that is there in spades, and it's such a neat, refreshing take on it, and everyone that I have got to try stories that wasn't sure because they just like Monster Hunter and the more action-y combat has ended up falling in love. So I think if you think you don't like the look of it, you're gonna surprise yourself come March. Then outside of the realm of stories, we do have Monster Hunter Outlanders. And of course, that is definitely a little bit more contentious, not directly Capcom, though Capcom's blessing is there. But that said, from recent gameplay and indeed from the recent closed alpha beta test, things are really positive. People seem to be really liking it. It certainly got something about it. The visuals to how it flows from watching gameplay to all the extra wild hearts clearly inspired mechanics. I think it really is going to be fun. I'm still so desperately fingers crossed for some sort of PC version. That would be really, really good, because, look, no matter how good a game is, it always feels a bit off to play it on mobile. I've only really had a few exceptions to that rule, even though there are plenty of quality mobile experiences. But in any case, for an actual proper, air quotes, Monster Hunter on mobile, this kind of looks like what you want. There will always be concerns until we definitively know how it's going to be monetized, but as it currently stands, and from people that have played it, even though no one can really talk about it, it's looking definitely more positive than negative, and in theory this is going to be happening in 2026, so it's an entirely third avenue of Monster Hunter, which can only be a good thing. And then outside of that, who knows what might happen? Obviously Capcom themselves have a lot more going on, with various other games in the works that all honestly look really cool too, and I think we're gonna just be in for a really good year. It could often feel a little bit like, oh, there's probably not gonna be a mainline Monster Hunter this year, but I think there's every chance that Wilds does sneak in a Master Rank expansion before, well, this time next year, and that's kinda cool. And after that, well, then you start to think about this generation's equivalent of Risebreak, this generation's Portable, and the cycle continues on, ever exciting. But in any case, I just wanted to kind of go over what we have to look forward to, and it's a fairly hefty amount. Obviously, there's still things like Monster Hunter Now going strong, and though I hear very mixed things about it these days, the sheer amount of monsters in it at this point is commendable at a minimum, and who knows what other surprises we might be in for. In any case, let me know what you're most looking forward to, and what you're most hopeful, and where your prediction for Master Rank Wilds reveal, and then eventual release, lies. For now then, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.